So after securing their safety in the top flight yesterday with their win over St Johnstone, but it would have been secured anyway with Ross County's result, Dundee have taken the decision to relieve Tony Docherty and his backroom staff of their duties with immediate effect. And Shawn Maloney appears to be the favourite to take over at Dundee from what I've seen so far. I've had a look at the online response to this from some Dundee fans, and it's a little bit of a mixed reception to it. Some people saying it's a bit harsh. Some people saying that he, had such a terrible season compared to last. There was only one outcome. Too stubborn at times. Some people were saying no plan B. The way that I'm outside looking in, I feel it's a little bit harsh. Maybe he'd had it coming with how Dundee have been this season. But, they lost Luke McCowan in the summer. He was a big player for them last season. They've got Lyle Cameron going out the door this summer. They had to spend a lot of money in fixing the pitch. That was a big problem for them the season prior. And there was some circumstances that did cost them a few points refereeing-wise, the most recent one being the Ross County penalty incident there. But I've got his total, according to FOTMob anyway, his total match record for Dundee in front of me. And, for a club like Dundee, it's not the worst record in the world, especially, when they came up originally, they definitely overachieved last season in getting that top six finish, 100%. Nobody I knew had Dundee finishing in the top six, similar to Dundee United this season, I suppose, overachieving in that respect. So, there was that. I don't know if that expectation level that he'd built up was enough for the board to think that this season wasn't good enough, or something had been brewing in the background. Maybe he was annoyed that, there didn't appear to be as much investment in the squad this season as there was last season. But again, the pitch took priority this season for them. At the end of the day, they survived. I think that probably would have been their goal last season when they came up, and they're still in the division again. The pitch doesn't need to be funded again, hopefully, this season coming around. Maybe something could have been done about that. I just think personally this one's a bit harsh. Would Derek McInnes have lost his job at Killie had Hearts not came in and picked him up? I don't think so, and they've had a bigger drop off really in terms of Dundee. Dundee finished 6th last season and have finished 10th this season compared to Killie finishing in the European places last season, and now they're in the bottom half, bottom six. So it's, I don't know. It feels harsh to me, but I'm not a Dundee fan, and there appears to be some Dundee fans that think that this was the right decision. I've seen some people saying Stuart Kettlewell should get the job. Obviously, Shawn Maloney is the bookie's favourite, according to the internet anyway. We'll see how quickly they decide to appoint a manager. It's just, I think this one has come a bit of a surprise. I did not have this one on the cards, that he was in any sort of danger of losing his job. Similar to Simo Valakari at St Johnstone, despite the fact that they've gone down. I'd be surprised if he lost his job, especially since I don't think a lot of it was his fault. I'd be very surprised if Ross County decide to sack Don Cowie, particularly if he manages to keep them up against Livingston, which we'll be doing the match preview for in a couple of days for that as well, and the match reaction to it as well. In the same way, I wasn't surprised that David Martindale wasn't sacked when Livy went down. I think this one's a bit of a surprise, to be honest, especially with his overall record in charge of Dundee. But what do I know? Maybe I don't watch them week in, week out because they're not on TV as much as some of the other clubs. So maybe he did deserve to go, but in my opinion it seems a bit harsh. If you are new around here, please consider checking out some of the other content on the channel. See what floats your boat, SPFL RTG stuff, other Scottish football content, as well as some other gaming content on the channel. Thank you very much to all the new viewers and subscribers. We passed 5.5k subscribers this morning, which is absolutely fantastic. Please consider subscribing if you are new around here, and I'll catch you in the next one.